where we left off, guys, you have escaped Barovia, for some of you again. Defeating Limvala, investigating her castle, finding out a couple of unique goings on within the castle grounds and within Limvala's desk contents. You have burnt her body, investigated slightly where some of her strange, misty tunnels led, knowing that one leads to some kind of city, city streets, bustling. But they were also fading over time. So, wanting to avoid the unknown there and the maybe bad ramifications from a certain angry lich, you decided to leave Barovia and you have returned to Blackstaff Tower. Here, you have met Illustrial Silverhand, chatted briefly with Vigil and Malcor, bringing them up to date a little bit. Mordenkainen has now returned home. He is grateful. You have the second piece of the Jathman dagger in his staff, so that makes two now. And Vigil has told you that he's accidentally made the rift in this basement area a little bit bigger. Other than that, I think that's where we left it. So, guys, with a hell of a lot more information, but not really sure what direction to go with it all, what would you guys like to do? Oh, and I think Frankie has just sent a link to her notes that she's been doing. In fact, I will say as well, kicking things off, as Hunter and Ribbit aren't here, on their behalf, they've been thinking to themselves about all the things you've learnt, questions, things they don't know, things they're assuming, things they're theorizing. I've just sent in the Facebook chat the things that they had like highlighted to each other as significant that they were going to bring up to you guys. And Hunter is in this present moment very intrigued about what's happened to Silver Moon, maybe wanting to hop on the airship and check it out, see if there's any changes, investigate still if it's still occupied, and find out why Lalalia was interested in it. He's not strongly convicted on that though, so that was just his off the cuff thoughts at the minute. So yeah, over to you guys. What would you like to do?
That's a pretty fair suggestion, really.
Did we ask Lady Sylvans where she had come from? Because she was injured, like, where did she get the injuries from?
Yes, in the attacking of Silvery Moon. She mentioned that she arrived a bit too late to actually do anything about it.
Is that in the attack or in the defense of it? Like, did they try and retake it, or did she get...
No, in the initial assault, she arrived trying to help, but was injured in the process. And she's mentioned she does have a few... I can't remember the word she used for it. She has a few assets, a few forces under her command, but they're very few and far between and all out on their own individual tasks, missions, and objectives at the minute. She doesn't have a force to speak of left.
Meridia left off saying that they were working towards one thing last time. If I can just continue from that point, if that's okay.
No! Yeah.
So after Lady Blackstaff says, oh, that's worrying or troublesome, whatever it was that she said, Meridia will continue, and she will go. She'll pull out the two letters. The one from the one that the one that Linvala was writing, and the one from Nirixador. I'm looking now, and I can't find the handout, Matt. Where are they?
Notable objects and information, books and letters, Linvala's desk contents.
Aha! Fantastic. Okay, so she's going to bring up the Brimstone letter map from Sister Superior Uramaris, and she's going to bring out Linvala's unsent response to her, and say that although they all seem to be working towards something, from my knowledge of my time in the Order, this response from Linvala herself to her Sister Superior is, for someone that is as devout and zealous and single-focused in doing everything for the Order as Linvala was, the fact that she openly disregarded a direct order from her Sister Superior and went against it, and not only that, but wrote a rebuttal saying and stating quite clearly that she thinks that she knows better than her Sister Superior, that is unheard of. So whatever it was that Linvala thinks that she might have found, it may turn out to be nothing, but I believe that is a very strong point to start from, or at least something to give us a go-ahead to start. Now, obviously, this invasion on the fire plane is a terrifying concept as well, but the fact that Linvala would just disobey is mind-boggling to me. I didn't know her very well, but from what I heard of her and what I know that all of those zealous types are like, this is surprising, to say the least. And she will give both of the letters for Malcor and everybody to read. But then she will take them back after they've read them.
After a perusal, Thog will completely back this and say, "Yep, there's no way I would ever expect them." Like, disagree is one thing, though. Everyone's allowed to disagree privately in their own mind, but there's no way I could ever believe up to this point that Linvala would openly disagree with a superior member of the Order. But you are, that's exact. That's 100% unheard of in all the time I spent with her. Very worrying.
So what would make someone as zealous as her? Like, what could possibly be important enough for someone like her to change her approach, let's say, so drastically?
Well,
Would it be power related or ambition?
I don't think it would be power related. I think that it would definitely be ambition. The ones in the Order, like Linvala, believe truly within their heart of hearts that they deserve to be an honoured saint. And that is one step down from the Lelia herself. That is in the inner circle. There are only ever 3 honoured saints at a time. Except, from what it says in the book, which... don't even get me started on that. But there are only ever 3 in rotation at a time, because each 3 of them are the direct heads of each specific order. And underneath that, it is their Abbess Sanctorum and their direct retinue of followers, and then directly underneath them are the 2 Sister Superiors of each order. So the zealous one, the truly zealous ones like Linvala, and there are a number, believe that they deserve to be at her side, basically, her right-hand servant. So I think that whatever it is, Linvala may have thought this will allow me to ascend to the status that I truly deserve. Or it is something that she thinks that the Lelia probably maybe directly would want. And again, that's not, in byproduct of that is power, obviously, but that is, again, ascension of ambition and status and all of that. And she looks at Thog, Meridia looks at Thog at this point and goes, I'm sure you'll agree that, from what I heard of Linvala, you knew her personally, but she really, truly wanted to be there at that point. So I think that whatever she's writing about in here, in the Shadowfell district or mountains of Whitestone, is probably important enough for us to look into. And again, it might come up with absolutely nothing, but I don't know. The fact that Linvala would go against the Order to do something of her own decision is slightly scary.
Thorpe's going to nod and agree because she thinks she's right. Damn, she looks pretty simple. And then she's just going to sniff Beatus, look away, like very unimpressed. Not with you, really, of course. Look away, very impressed. I could have been on the saint, It's like quiet to herself. I could have been on the saint. I was willing to convert. Not though very likely though. I mean, you made it out Barovia twice. Only person to ever do that and not be Vistani.
And then after she takes the letters back from letting Malcolm and Matlock read that, she'll kind of wander over and sit down as she is looking fucking haggard at this point.
It's difficult because I thought saying it's not just going to say it's difficult because we don't have by nature with the beast where we don't have solid information one way or the other, but we also we lack the resources to properly, and she's going to look back at Mordecai. Is Mordecai still in the room with us?
He is, yeah.
And she's just going to look at him pointedly and goes, we currently lack the resources to scry. Looks at him pointedly. Think you can help?
I do believe Lavender can actually scry.
Again, I don't know what Frankie's character can do, so that's why I'm asking.
I'm checking.
All Thog knows is he's the most powerful.
He's
He's got the biggest wizards.
I can indeed do the scrying.
Brilliant.
But I need
The
to
only reason Thog was
think
even looking at
first.
Mordecai. The only reason Thog even looked at him because he's got the biggest wizard staff in the room.
Lavender can, but she is going to need a fucking kip first.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Say that again, Matt.
Jill like half smiles like, oh, you had a rough time of it then.
Sorry, Matt. What did you say? I literally heard "vit" and then
said, oh, you had a rough time of it then. What's going on? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah.
He's saying, so you had a rough time of it then.
Yeah. That's one way of putting it. Another way would be, why don't you go find out?
Lavender will get this kind of like dark look come over her face and just kind of give him bombastic side eye and be like, Well, if you hadn't noticed, we're short on numbers.
Yeah, I noticed. Well, the office space is yours. Do with it what you will. If you need to rest, go nuts. I would avoid the giant squiggle. I saw that, didn't that? Maybe don't rest near the red lightning rift, but yeah, all yours, guys.
Should I go
Um,
there, attempt to close that giant lightning rift?
How would you do that?
Is that not a portal?
No. The
Well,
things that you
that's
have access to are the portals around the room, the made ones, not the naturally occurring ones.
Hmm,
It's
okay.
not any portal that you can do. Those ones around the outside of the room.
Natural, he calls it.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
like
but-
not made by Mordenkainen and Malfoy.
Let's see.
While we are
Yeah.
back in the material plane, does anybody, like Fox was kind of looking around, while we are back in the material plane, does anybody actually need to do any sort of, need any resources or anything? Because I'm finding myself a little low in the supplies area before we go on our next
Oh,
adventure,
yes,
as it were.
definitely.
Probably do with some.
Not that I intend to turn the session into a shopping trip. I already have a short list prepared I can just put in chat. But,
Well, you are in Waterdeep, so that would be a very easy and very quick endeavor if you did want to all go shopping.
after a long rest.
Okay. If you are all keen on having a long rest, let me know what you're doing in this long rest. Let me know if anybody is wanting to keep watch. Now that you're all through and you're wanting to rest, Mordenkainen is going to walk back towards the portal that you came through from Barovia that previously wouldn't shut. And you see him take a deep breath and say, I hope this works. And you see a flicker of light from his hand, and given the changes in Barovia, it does indeed close.
Hey, clap, clap, clap.
Yes, get in.
Golf clap.
What happens in Barovia stays in Barovia.
Now we've just left them all
Oh.
with a power vacuum, and we've shut the door.
Don't worry. If it's anything like last time, it can let Fox in character. Don't worry. If it's anything like last time, there will be an improvement, no matter how slight.
Meridia will kind of look at Malcor, Vigil, and all that, and go, any of these connected to the Feywild directly?
I muted myself. Mordenkainen will say, that was one that we used to have, but we did not really use it, so no. I know some of these obviously connected dangerous places, but in our explorations of the Feywild, it was normally just troublesome. We gave up rather quickly in that regard.
Just out of curiosity, which stone was it? And she'll just kind of like look around at the closed portals.
He will gesture over to the eastern
This
portal.
one over here.
Yeah.
Cool. She will just like walk over and like just kind of sit down on the ground and like just place her hand on like the grass and stuff and just be like and just kind of like start to breathe and try and just feel for any sort of connection to that place still around, like any sort of residual face sensation, and then just kind of get into a like a cross-legged formation and just go. I'm just going to sorry, but I'm very tired. I've been, bound and gagged for a number of days now, and I'm just going to have a quick meditation session. It's probably going to take a couple of hours, but after that, I'm easily and happy to be at your disposal in any way that you need me to. And she would place like the her sword across her legs in front of her, and just go into her version of a long rest.
Okay. Is everybody else long resting? What are you doing on this long rest, in addition to your rest, if so?
Ethel's looking pretty knackered, so they're just gonna pass out at the earliest convenience. But
Okay.
if anyone's able to, we should keep a watch. It just can't be me.
Meridia will kind of like, just before she goes out, she'll hear you, just before she gets into a deep meditation, she'll pipe up and just go, I'm happy to watch for the rest of the time you're all asleep after this. Basically, I get a 4-hour long rest, and then I can do 2 watches, so just so that's out in the open. Anytime we go to do a watch or anything, I'll quite happily do 2 watches, or at least assist on 2 watches.
Vigil and Malcor can easily take watch for the first stretch if you guys want, because they are fully rested at the minute. Is a yes?
I mean, I'm already going out, so whatever anybody else wants to do. I can do 2 watches after this, so whatever anybody wants to do. If y'all don't trust Meridia, by all means, stay awake, but,
No, I might as well take a long rest then. Yeah.
Okay. Dayek,
Ah!
can you just give me a perception check?
Perception, probably one of my best stats. Oh, 17.
Okay. Maybe an hour or two into this rest, there's like rustling and thudding, that ambient backdrop you have of subtle noises when lots of people are staying in the same room. It kind of stirs you a little bit, and as your eyes open ever so slightly, they catch Lady Silverhand sat up on her little mattress, legs crossed, completely neutral expression, but just watching over to the east towards Meridia. And still in like your half asleep state, you look over. You see where Meridia's sat. The grass no longer seems to actually be there. There's like little brightly glowing mushrooms and stone flowers just dotted around her. And this like rippling, not so much wind, but just motion coming from around where she sat. And as you watch, you can see it's being caused by very, very faint people dancing around her. One of those people you can tell just by the armor straight away, by the hair. One of them is a very ghostly version of Meridia. The other one does seem familiar. It takes you a few moments, especially in this state. But you realize it's one of the apparitions that you were fighting that was summoned by Limvala, dancing around Meridia as she sits there, eyes closed, in in this trance. As they do, you can see more and more of these translucent shapes kind of building up half of a scenery, half of a set piece, if you will. Cherry blossoms and weeping willow-filled gardens as they dance and dance around Meridia, enjoying each other, holding hands, light petting, soft kisses, and just very innocent and carefree smiles on their faces. And while this is a very strange sight, it's so peaceful, it almost sends you back to sleep and your eyes begin closing again. And just with one last little look, you're kind of jolted back to consciousness as you realize you don't know whether it's in an instant, in a minute, or in 10 minutes. You don't know how long's passed, but that image is gone now, and you see Meridia being pelted and pummeled by Limvala. A knee to the stomach and an elbow to the face, knocking her to the floor. And you see as Limvala's boot comes down on Meridia's head, Meridia snaps awake and her surroundings return to normal. She seems quite shaken.
Yeah. Are you alright?
As that happens, Meridia will, as she snaps awake, with her training, augmented into her, though, she will, in one fluid motion, grab her sword, get up, and immediately kind of stab at the air at where Linvala was standing. And then just kind of heavily breathe for a minute or two, for a second or two, and then kind of let the sword drop, tip point to the ground, and then just kind of shake her head a bit. And then turn to you, Tia, who spoke, kind of with a frazzled, dazed, half asleep, panicked, scared, and angry, all at once going on her face. She'll just kind of look at you to the left and just go, yes, I'm fine.
You know that would have been dangerous to be anyone else. Thankfully, I'm not that tall. Would you like to have some morning tea and breakfast?
I would love some tea, actually, Tia. That would be fantastic. And you see she kind of regains her composure a bit, and she just gives you a soft smile at the aspect of tea. And then she just kind of looks sheepishly at anybody that's kind of awake. And she will sheath her sword and where are you, Tia? I can't actually see you because of lights. And I will go over to wherever you are, and I will grab some tea with you quite happily.
This one is called the Sunsprite. It is supposed to be very good for you in the morning, and it shines as bright as the sun. Well, figuratively speaking. Otherwise, we'll be blinding people who just woke up. That wouldn't be good.
Meridia will thank you and sit at the table and sip the tea, kind of staring into it as she does it and just be quiet and contemplative.
It is made out of yellowish petal that smells of rose. Have a little bit of a nice sweet taste to it. It was from one of the recommended packs alongside with Death. This one I believe would be slightly nicer.
This is truly fantastic and exactly what I needed. Thank you. Thank you very much, Tia. I do love a good cup of tea, so I feel like this is something that we can definitely share together.
That is good to know.
if no one else wants to do anything on their long rest, then obviously your long rest is undisturbed. Go ahead and long rest yourselves up. And
Did you
I'm
say Did you say undisturbed or undeserved?
undisturbed?
Like,
It
oh,
was
you didn't
definitely-
deserve any of this.
It was definitely deserved. And then I guess you guys are all going shopping. So, Thog, yeah, you can easily get 100 gold worth of incense. You could find that in so many places in Waterdeep. That would be rather quick. What does everybody else wants? More tattooing. Magical tattoo artists. Okay. We'll get back to that in a second. And a small hand mirror and a potion shop. Okay. Derek, you're going to have to be looking in more high-end sort of shops for potions. A hand mirror you could come by quite easily for like 2 gold. Or if you want a crappy one, you could probably get it for a silver piece, to be honest.
I was really looking for just something small that I can, more like palm instead of like hold with like a handle.
I see.
It's a small thing.
For both, then, give me an investigation check.
Oh, I can definitely do an investigation. So 1 investigation or 2, because you said both.
You give me 1 for each.
Okay. That's not good. That's 13 and 16.
Okay. It's not that hard to find what you're looking for. I'd probably say for like 2 gold pieces, you could find a hand mirror like that that you could palm in your hand. It's going to take you a couple of hours to find a shop with just the right thing, because that's quite specific, not really something that a lot of people would be interested in, but you could find it. Okay, Ribbit is helping you find your tattoo stuff as well, Teffel. So, for tattooing, you could find that easily as well. How much are you looking for?
Well, basically just some other colors besides what was in the basic kit that they have, if that's possible.
Okay, cool.
I think I've got primary colors and black, so they're just looking to see if there's any, literally any other colors that they don't have.
Okay. Again,
And then,
given it's
go ahead.
Waterdeep, the prices of each ink would probably vary because it depends how they're made, and certain ingredients are more expensive than others. Like purple is going to be a lot more expensive than like a green. But I'd say on average for your basic bog standard inkwell pot, you could probably get each color for like a gold. So
Perfect.
it's up to you what colors you want and how many you want.
I'll get 1 of each color that I don't have.
Excellent.
Can
go on.
Ribib and I look to see if there's anyone that would know about magical tattoos or...
Yes, so you would be going to the same kind of area that Dayak is looking for potions. Give me an investigation check at advantage.
Okay. I'm kind of good at this. Ugh. Hey!
Okay, that's pretty good.
Natural 20!
Pretty good, he says.
Pretty
Yeah, well,
good, yeah.
it's an ability check. It's not an automatic success, but it's pretty good. So that kind of thing with tattoos is it's very specialized compared to um uh compared to other magical items and assets and stuff. Um, however, um, coincidentally, Dayak finds a little magical shop. Uh, sells potions. There's a few spell scrolls in there. Um, it does have a few other magical trinkets, kind of, like they're technically for sale, but they're more on display. It has a wide array of colourful potions on shelves and in glass cases for you to pick from. But it's one of those two shops in one. Up some very rickety-looking stairs on the outside of the building, in the attic space, there is a small tattoo parlor in there. Again, decorated in magical means, but a bit more edgy, bit more of a scene. If that makes sense. And while it's not immediately apparent what's on sale, what services are on offer, etc., it seems like you have found the right place. So, Dave, first, what potions and stuff are you looking for specifically?
Healing potions. So I want to get a greater and 2 normal healing potions.
Okay. Let me just remind myself. A greater and 2 normal.
Normal, yeah.
Cool. It's going to set you back in the region of 200 gold total.
That's fine. Yep.
Cool. Teffel, as you enter this rather incense-heavy portion of the shop upstairs, what exactly are you looking for, asking, etc.?
Well, I'll just kind of peruse and see if it looks like anyone that's in there is actually an artist. And if so, or if there's like some kind of receptionist or anything like that, Tuffle will approach them and say, oh, I'm a bit of a novice artist and interested in what well, a little bit about my own magical tattoo, but I'm hoping to further my knowledge if there's any availability.
So there's only one person in here. Sat in the middle of the room, they have a kind of desk area that you can tell has a lockbox on it. They clearly have transactions going on here. And then in the very center of this small space, there is an old chair with a bunch of different tools, equipment, steadying aids, and a magical light source hanging over the top of it. It kind of reminds you more of like a dentist's chair than a tattooist's, but you work with what you can work with. The person you approach is a very gruff-looking dwarf. Very how to best describe without being offensive. It seems like he spends a lot of time up here and doesn't really leave onto the bustling streets below. As you approach, he gives you your arm a once over. He has a look at your face and's like, clearly at first glance, he's trying to see whether it's a tattoo or not, and then realizes, oh no, that is very real. His eyes go wide, not so much in fear, but in surprise. All right, show us the tattoo then.
To my understanding, it's somewhat rare, and I will activate my tattoo, which is, what's it called? A Blood Fury tattoo. So it uncoils from around my arm, and these kind of tendrils and tentacles begin to like seek and move around the room. And when no enemy is located, they kind of recoil back around my arm.
Quite rare. Yeah. I've never seen one like that. Heard about them, obviously. But no, that's yeah, that is rare. Are you looking for more like that, or
Well, I'd be willing to do a bit of exchange of knowledge, as I'm hoping one day to be able to do my own work. And if this
ah,
tattoo is of interest to you, I could let you study its means so that perhaps you could give it to future patrons. And if you had any bookings coming up, I would love to act as an assistant or an apprentice, even just on the very short term, so as not to disturb you.
you have any examples of work you've done before?
Tefel would have intentionally not brought fog them. But I imagine Ribib wouldn't have minded, and maybe even Lavender wouldn't have minded, like, coming with, and Tefel will show them their tattoos and take out the sketchbook if he's interested to show him their other sketches.
He raises one eye very critically as he looks over everything. You can see he gets lost within it for a second, and as he looks back to you, sees your face again, he remembers, like, okay. And the demeanor changes slightly. Well, at least you're admitting you're still learning. It's not bad. It's not bad. But
We all have to start somewhere.
yeah, true. See now,
As I said,
studying.
I wouldn't impose, simply to be in the room and watch you work for an afternoon, or even to help clean up.
Okay.
Anything, really, to further my
Studying
knowledge.
studying your tattoo would be a very interesting opportunity, but it would take a long time that I currently don't have, unless you're sticking around for a while. I tell you what, I have a few clients coming in this evening. One or two regulars, one who's very new to this kind of thing. I will allow you to indirectly assist with the regulars, and we shall see about the new one. How about that?
Thank you so much. Teffel's like over the moon and finalizes the plan and skips out
With
the door.
one caveat.
Oh, yes.
No armor, no massive weaponry. Maybe wear like a face covering.
Oh, certainly. Easily done.
Excellent. Would you like to return around 4?
I'll be here.
Okay. He gives you a nod. He will expect you to, as you say, do background work, happily let you observe. Give me a performance check.
Oh boy. Mm, 6.
Okay. There's a severe lack of haste when you are assisting him that afternoon, that evening. You're not quite on it with different needles that he needs. You're not quite on it with handling payment. Give me another performance check for the second one.
Oh. Well,
And you are well aware of that you are frustrating him ever so slightly. A few times you do feel like you're getting in the way more than helping, but the more time goes on, the more you get yourself into being a good assistant. And you are observing what he's doing in between these odd tasks he's setting you. Give me a persuasion check.
another thing I'm not good at. All right. 2.
When it comes to the third client, he turns to talk to you, and you see him almost like deflate on your behalf. I'm. It's just a very delicate thing, you know. It's pretty permanent, and we just don't want any mistakes or clumsiness. I think you should just watch this one too, if that's okay.
Yes, I understand.
I tell you what, as they're waiting for me to get ready, you can double check the stencils fine. Any holes that there may be, you know, any gaps, you can fill those in. And
Okay.
when it comes to it, you realize there's some pretty obvious ones that he's left for you. You know, lines not quite connecting that
Like
obviously
connect the
should.
dots activity.
Yeah. Give me a sleight of hand check.
Okay. 22?
And you do a perfect job of it.
Yay.
You know, doing some tattoos before, having such an intricate tattoo, being as interested as you are, it's a very easy job, but you still get that sense of satisfaction that you've done a very good job of it. And he does seem to notice. So you can see that in like that clear hesitancy he was feeling about you. There's a sigh of relief by the end of the day of, okay, it's not a lost cause. This is okay. And given that he will invite you back to whenever you feel like it, drop in and give him a hand. He doesn't have an on-call assistant. And yeah, he will continue to let you watch for now. And maybe participate, maybe become a proper apprentice in time. But at this point, it's you're still in the realms of he's doing you a favor.
That's fair. What's his name?
Gendry.
Gendry, okay. Thank you, Gendry. You've been more than generous.
Well, it gets quite stuffy up here, so can't help to be kind. Some positive vibes into quite a uninspiring workspace.
I certainly agree. Anything to keep the spirits up. I will see you soon.
Pop in whenever you want.
I'll keep practicing.
I think that would be best. Okay. Anything else anyone else wants? I'm just reading over the things you've sent me. Bloody Nora. Okay, that is a list. I will get back to you on said list. I will
Yeah,
be
sorry,
here for a while.
didn't mean to take this way. Just some of the items I might have wanted to buy at one point,
Yeah, it's all right.
and I forgot to send it over. So Yeah.
For that list, just give me an investigation check.
Investigation. 21.
Okay, cool. Good to know. I will get back to you on that. A night of rest, a day of shopping in the bustling streets of Waterdeep. Very sunny, very warm, and everyone you've seen and met along your day has been carefree, not a worry in the world, and seemingly unaware of the immense stress that certain individuals are experiencing in an effort to benefit the land and the realm. Regrouping in Blackstaff Tower that evening, probably around 7 or 8 p.m. What is it you guys are doing, discussing? What are your plans moving forward? If anyone has any preferences and theories, share with the group and discuss. Even if you are all completely in the dark and have no idea what you want to do, gotta make up your mind at some point.
Meridia will just seeing everybody come back, because I think that Meridia understands that that it probably wouldn't be a good idea if she went out into Waterdeep after what happened here. And she understands from the places that she's been at, in the guise that she's in, she uses it for advancement, to get into places that she shouldn't do, to find out more about the order. But ultimately, there are multiple cons to dressing and, bearing the mark of Silvermist. So she's just going to wait, and then when you guys all come back, she's going to again say that the invasion on the fire plane, if it's a full scale thing by an entire order or multiple orders, that there's not really a lot that we can do as a group when it's just the 8 of us or however many it is. But
I would say you keep using the word invasion. I believe the word they used was incursion.
yeah,
Or
the
infiltration.
the assault. We'll say the
Okay.
assault. The assault on it. That just the 6 or 8 of us or whatever. I don't think we can really do much. But again, she'll talk about the thing that Linvala was searching for, or found, or whatever, and say that she thinks it's a good point to start. And Lavender's furious Pepe board of of letters and maps and stuff. That again points towards that they've been scouring through the Shadowfell for some reason or another. And wouldn't understand why that would be if Thog did indeed assist Linvala in retrieving the shard of the Shadowfell.
As I'll interject here because it's literally in Hunter's notes, so he would at this point. Hunter and Ribbit going over what Thog has told them. Pointed out that that's not what Lelalius said to Thog. Lelalius said to Thog, a shard.
Okay.
Sorry, not a shard. The shard from a Shadowfell is what they used.
Okay. Then Meridia will say that maybe it's the shard of this particular Shadowfell, and it would be a bad idea for that to be removed. especially if the terminology is the Lelia's prize. Like that's quite important words that Linvala would use to say that it's a prize, the Lelia's prize. Like that's a big fancy title for something that is a scary part.
Would we know, though, how to get there? Let alone what to look for?
Meridia will kind of look at the powerful spellcasters in front of us and go, well, they've opened portals to other places. Perchance they could open a portal near to where we need to be for that. If not, maybe somebody here knows how to drop us to a different plane of existence somewhere near it. Hopefully. I don't know how to do those sites, that type of magic, unfortunately.
Well, obviously Mordenkainen, Malcor, Vigil probably as well, and I believe Tia do know how to do such a thing now.
Amazing. So, yeah.
There is, if you are, they will point out, if you are wanting these portal destinations to move, there's no guarantee that they are going to be completely accurate anymore to where the destination at the other end is, because they weren't designed to be moved. But it is possible to move the destination location. The more you try and move it, like the further the distance, the more likely it is going to be off target from where you're aiming.
It's funny you should mention that, says Thog in character. I may have a suspiciously simple solution, one that I haven't had access to until recently. Turns out that somebody, and she's going to kind of look a bit, look around. Just obviously, she's only going to do this at a point where everybody is, all in one place again. Just somebody owes me, I think, at least one very, very large favour, and I think I can get a straight answer out of them. The problem is, I can only ask them one question.
How many people owe you a favour?
And Thog's gonna say, well, do you count everyone in Barovia as one because they're not here right now?
Just the
In
major
that case,
players,
then,
I think.
in that case, then, and then she's just gonna start listing off until you get bored. And by that I mean listing off, starting with your name and then everybody else's name, and then when you get bored and eventually decide to tell Thug to stop, she'll say, "Yeah, and that was just Barovia. Imagine how many people owe me favours before that." And but no, serious talk. I can ask one question, and I'm almost guaranteed to get a sensible answer, even if I don't understand it properly. Yes, Lewis, yes. That's right. That's why I said once. That's why I said once.
Meridia will just kind of look at you and be like, who would you be asking?
And then looking around, obviously we're in a bit of a, like an open forum, aren't we? And Thog's just going to say, well, I can promise you they're on our side in one way or another, but are definitely not shady. They're definitely not shady. But I can promise you this: it would have to be done in private. You could all be there, but it would have to be done in a side room, perhaps, or in private. We don't necessarily know everybody that well.
Elustria will rise to her feet and say, "Well, I have business to do in the rest of the tower. I do have to go and make myself known to Master Bayron, so if you would like me to leave, that is completely fine. I'll take no offense."
No. The thug's gonna go. The thug's gonna like, no, please. If anything, I need your help too. I need to make sure that we're not scried upon while I ask. I need to make sure nobody's looking in, divining us while we're trying to get our answer. I don't have any magic to do, to prevent scrying.
Vigil will stick his hand in the air like a kid that knows something no one else does. Oh, yes, I've already used this. I helped Hunter with this. I can see. I can cast a spell. I can see invisible things. So, if someone's scrying on you, I could see it. Is that any help?
Seeing doesn't prevent it, right? I'm
Well, no, but like if I can see it, I can go, "Hey, I see it," and then you stop, and it's I'm helping.
If it's invisible, then you can just point it out, but we can't see it.
No, but you could stop whatever it is you're doing that you don't want them to see.
But if we've only got one attempt at it, then stopping.
I see where you're getting. Yeah,
mid-
yeah. And he sits back down and goes, "Well, I'm out."
I mean, if it'll help, then it sounds like a great idea. But who is it that? What's the name of the individual that you'll be asking a question to, Thug? You're.
Would detect magic help in locating a scrying spell?
What about dispel magic?
Spell magic would if you could see it. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I'm asking. Would detect magic be able to allow me to see a scrying spell?
Yes, but it would also be reliant on your perception because it would be such a faint magical aura that it wouldn't be as easy as seeing invisibility. But technically, yes.
Good. I do have the spell magic, but I don't have something to necessarily allow him to see invisibility.
Lavender can do true sight, right? Once a day or once a thing or something?
Correct.
Right? And then she also has she has detect magic at will. Does she have dispel magic? Fuck, no she doesn't. Piss. Where the
Maybe
fuck
without
is
powers combined.
where the fuck is Moreau when you need him? I mean, you have to see the scrying thing to dispel it, right? I don't know whether those powers combined would work.
I mean, if I can have detect magic up, she can point it out. Maybe that'd help, but I'm just spitballing ideas.
Technically speaking, I don't think it specifies you have to see it. It just says to choose a creature, object, or magical effect within range. So I think you just have to be.
Oh, well, fuck yeah.
I would assume, by the way it's worded, if someone points out to you and goes, "It's right there," you can choose that.
All right,
especially if you were to have, say you put detect magic on yourself. If someone pointed it out who could see invisibility, you would be able to spot the very faint aura and go, "Yeah, that's it."
And if you know it's a scrying spell, then you can pinpoint that ability, I guess.
Yeah,
Even
exactly.
if you can't physically see it.
Well, then
y-
know what
'cause
the ability is.
Yeah, because there's a physical like manifestation of essentially an eye that you can see if you can see invisibility. So, yeah,
well, let's take the free spell slot from Vigil. Or was it Malco?
it was Vigil.
Vigil. Let's take this free spell slot from Vigil and do that then, if that's a plan. Vigil can point it out. You can dispel it. Thog can continue to do it. That's a plan.
Vigil's up for it.
Let's fucking go then. Let's fucking do this shit. If the group's happy, it sounds like a great idea. Any additional info would be great. I have no idea who the fuck Thog is talking about, so I'm slightly afraid, but it should be fun.
How long does this see invisibility work for?
I think it's an hour. Let me just double check.
In which case, would it be
Yeah, 1 hour.
In which case, would it be worth just like scouring the room to see if there's anything here now before we started? Because I imagine this one question, very carefully asked, doesn't need to take an hour to ask.
Okay. Vigil will cast See Invisibility, and he'll just begin walking around the room, checking it all out.
Okay.
Cool. I have made a perception check.
Oh no.
About 5-10 minutes, he comes back. Nope, nothing invisible I can see.
Okay. I'll take your word for it, but do keep your eyes open if you don't mind.
That would be a fun thing to do. Cast See Invisibility and then close your eyes for an hour.
It seems like something Vigil would do.
Vigil
what-
is not Rakeen.
So that it took about 10 minutes?
Yeah, about 10 minutes. It's
Okay.
got 50 minutes left of it.
Then I'm just going to ritual cast Detect Magic in that time.
Okay, cool. Detect Magic's up, See Invisibility is up.
Don't we have to actually get to whatever person it is that Fog has in mind?
No. Frog is going to put her back to the wall so nobody can be behind her, right? Because, that lessens the burden on Virgil. And then she's going to sit down, put out about, I don't know, 25 gold worth of incense, and say, now look, I'm not the smartest here, and, I'm just going to flex. I might be the strongest, metaphorically, but I'm not the smartest. What exactly do you want an answer to? Ideally, as specific as possible. Anyone?
I mean, who is it that you're asking a question to? That might help us gauge our question. Don't do what I think you're going to do, Lewis.
Yeah, I am. You're
Oh,
fucking right.
Jesus Christ.
He's a scrub in comparison.
Oh.
And then Thog is just going to look Meridian dead in the eye and say, I'm going to ask the Morning Lord.
I don't know what would the Morning Lord know that would assist us with?
Anything the light touches is in his domain. I would assume, and this is only a guess. Yeah, exactly. This is why I said Lewis yes. But I guess or assume that I would be able to get some information out of him. And I'm only going to do this once, Matt. Just be careful here. Once, but I feel that we are at a bit of a dead end because we're, kind of going in circles. But the important thing is, I need to know a very specific question, as specific as possible. Because I know I'm not out of character. Lewis is plenty clever enough to think of a really good one, but in character, I'm not clever enough to think of the perfect wording to get as much information out of one question as possible. I need some help. This is Thog reaching out to the group because Thog's she's not that, not that sharp.
Mm-hmm.
And Lewis isn't going to give her a question she would naturally never have thought of by herself.
Well, what do you think would be the best question to ask?
Would it be helpful, now that Lewis has put the pressure on you all, to have our 5-minute break here?
I think so.
Sure.
Yes.
Let's have our 5-minute break now. We'll be back at 53 minutes past.
I don't get to do this very often playing as Thog, but there you go.
Just to make it, just to make sure the pressure's not on one person, I am going to give you all a -10 to saving throws for 24 hours for every person who doesn't give Thog at least one possible question.
Right.
Pressure's on. See you in
Right.
5 minutes.
See you in 5.
Oh.
Is everybody here?
I wish.
I'm back.
But you know.
So, let's do this top to bottom in the Discord then. Start with Teffel. Any suggestions for a question that Thog may ask? Teffel is typing. What about a direction the group could take that would be advantageous in the long run? Like a starting point for us to work from. Ah. So not picking a question with a direct answer, but more one for what is the path we should follow.
Hopefully, you get some antihistamines in you, Eve. That might help. Oh no.
Oh dear, indeed. Try upgrading to the one beginning with P. They're a lot bigger, but they're stronger. What's it called now?
Matt, I think the word you're looking for is pessary.
Pyrtes, that's the one. Okay, Meridia.
Meridia suggests that. What about asking what it was or what it is that the Lavia's forces are searching for in the in the magical libraries and the magical relic places that they've been trying to get into, like the Vault of Sages and the other places that they've attacked for magical items and or knowledge and or power and stuff. Because if they're just grasping for anything and everything they can, then we know that they're in a bit more of a panic. But if there's something specific that they're looking or working towards, then maybe that will give us an idea of what the Lavia and the Children of Silver Mist are aiming to try and get, and maybe we can find a way to circumvent that. Because if he does know everything the light touches, like Thog says, then there have been multiple places and attacks in places that have got sunlight attached to it. So maybe that'll help. That's my suggestion anyway.
I mean, Thog doesn't even know if that's true. But you can see Thog believes it's true.
And your belief is what makes Meridia believe to you that this is a good question.
See, there you go. We need faith, baby.
Yep.
George Michael said it.
It's not done anything wrong to anybody else in the past.
Thog hands out another flyer.
I was just about to say.
You know what? Fuck it. Meridia will take the flyer.
Hey, you want to level up to something that's good and great. Make your faith great again.
All right. She hands the flyer back.
That's the spirit. That was a test, and you passed. Welcome to the vlog.
Suddenly, just her eyes blare red. The Morning Lord symbol appears on her chest.
Okay. Thea, do you have a question suggestion?
Well, I think it would be very useful to know what we don't know first before we ask any question that we already might have an answer for. I am not entirely sure in terms of what we should ask for, because any answer can be very cryptic.
Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. I think Thog legitimately doesn't know. Yes.
Liam/Meridia also has a secondary question that they think might be a good question, considering what we've been discussing previously.
Why
Does
oh, sorry.
no, carry on. I'll say my thing if nobody else says it in their suggestions at the end.
I am just thinking of do we really know the true origin of these red flashes and scars in the sky? Maybe that would be something of interest for us. Although I'm not sure how that would be useful in preventing Big L from achieving their goals.
That's what I was going
fair.
to say. That's what I was going to say about the red lightning bolts and what the fuck they actually are.
Well, so far we know we can't travel through them. Some people might actually die in the process. You end up in who knows God who. Damn it! I have a little bit of stroke over here. Who knows where you will be, and they seem very dangerous.
Yeah. Kind of not my main, it's kind of not Thog's main concern, but it's a very, very valid question.
Dayak, do you have any suggestion for a question?
I had two that were rather similar, and then they were really similar to what Liam had. Maybe something more along the lines of: is there a would he know where they get their information from? Like, oh, let's go here, let's go here, let's go here, let's target these 16 places. Is there that? So ask for a source of where they get the information from, but that's a very specific one. So if that is too much, maybe ask if there is a possible visible pattern. Like, where do they come from? If it is that the monologue can see where they are, like anything that the sun touches.
You mean like where is their home base?
Where's the home base? But if there's not a home base, how do they travel? Where do they literally come from? Do they appear through portals?
I see.
Like, is there something where we can follow them to or from?
I see what you mean. That's it. Again, it's a totally fair question. So now you guys have said this, Thog's going to offer what she was thinking, which is asking, and it's only a simple question because she's not very clever, but just thinking if it would be worth asking, what did Linvala find that would make her go against direct orders?
I mean, that's a very good question, but if it's in the Shadowfell, then Meridia will say that the sun doesn't touch that. The sun doesn't touch that really.
Absolutely. Because I rolled an intelligence check while I was thinking of questions of how clever would Thog be, and then I got a nat 1, so that's naturally is why she would ask that question.
All right, fair play.
Jack, are you here to stay, or are you just listening in for a second?
I'll be here for like 20 minutes.
Oh, brilliant.
Excellent. Thog, would you like to just fill Hunter in and pose the same question?
Okay. Hunter, my homeboy. Listen up. There's Thog is going to ask the Morning Lord one question she's going to get an honest answer to, but it can only be one question. So we're trying to brainstorm what's going on, right? Do
Okay.
you have you? Well, obviously based on what happened last time, and we're kind of just trying to decide on what kind of direction we should be going in next. Because Thog is not clever and did not ask a clever question, what questions do you think would be asked to the Morning Lord? There's only one, a single question.
Well, the question should be something that maybe not answers our immediate problem, I think, but gives us the end game result. What is Linvala trying to do? So, I don't know. I think personally she's trying to bring down the divine gate somehow. But if we ask, is Linvala trying to bring down the divine gate, and they say no, then we're shafted. But yeah, I think the question should more relate to long term rather than short term, because if you know
it can only be within 7. It can only be within 7 days.
What within 7? Oh, like past.
Yeah, the event or question either something as in like ask a question as of now, or an activity to occur within 7 days. So, yeah.
I mean, it depends how vague the answer is going to be, because if you could say what's Linvala's.
So, according to the wording of the spell, just so we're clear here, according to the wording of the spell, your magic and an offering, you ask a single question concerning a specific goal, event, or activity to occur within 7 days. The GM offers a truthful reply. The reply might be a short phrase, rhyme, or an omen. The spell doesn't take into account any possible circumstances that might change the outcome, such as casting spells, etc., etc. If you cast it more often, there's more chance you're going to get a random reading. The GM rolls as a secret. That's not important. I'm only doing it once. I don't want to abuse this spell.
Okay. One question.
Oh, and if you don't think of an answer, that will give you -10 to your saving throws for in-game in 24 hours. He said so.
Mm.
I don't think that casted Jack. He wasn't here for the same amount of thinking.
He's here now.
Okay. One question beforehand. Did anyone bring up the whole A Shadowfell versus the Shadowfell thing yet?
I don't think.
Well,
so.
no. The Morning Lord is a sunshine deity. So, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't know that.
I said the Morning Lord is a sunshine deity, so I'm not really sure how helpful he'll be in anything relating to the Shadowfell.
No. I mean, did anyone bring up my point of the wording of one of the letters with A versus the Shadowfell?
Oh no.
Because in one of the letters it said Thog was sent to A Shadowfell, not the Shadowfell, as you would usually refer to something as the Shadowfell. But the fact that it said A Shadowfell said, kind of brought up the point to me that it wasn't the Shadowfell of this reality. It was maybe the Shadowfell of our reality. I just wanted to see if what was going on with that, because that struck me as curious.
Fair enough.
That's a good point.
Yeah, good question.
I don't know if anybody else, obviously the DM can't say yay or nay, but if anyone else has any insight into that, because that opens up quite a lot of possibilities of what these shards are being brought here for, because currently I have the prime material shard, but that's from my reality, not this one. And also, if she's got the Shadowfell shard from our reality, then this is getting more and more interesting in the fact that she's getting these things from somewhere without a divine gate, maybe for a purpose I don't know yet. But the wording on A Shadowfell was very curious. Have I
Yeah.
in my times, Mr. DM? Like when people are referring to the Shadowfell, do they refer to it usually as the Shadowfell, or have I heard people refer to it as a Shadowfell before?
You have never heard anyone refer to it as a Shadowfell. That is grammatically incorrect, because there is only one in a given reality, that is.
Right, okay. So to me, that now means that she has come to my reality, Shadowfell, and the shard she currently possesses is not from this reality, it's from mine. So I don't know if that's important for anybody at any point, but just bear that in mind, because I did notice that when I was reading through the notes yesterday.
In some ways, that makes Tog feel significantly better. In other ways, significantly worse.
Oh yeah, so that means you've been to my reality.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not my reality, Shadowfell, that's got the issue, but also that's someone else's reality now has an issue on top of our own.
How did you get to the Shadow the Shadowfell?
Timey-wimey magical bullshit, of course.
Ah, so it wasn't
The
like
classic.
Okay.
The classic answer to everything in D&D doesn't have a good answer. I got a lift from a magical Uber. Technically correct. Technically correct.
Yeah, good spell. Question then. Yeah, it's got to be something along the lines of. Well, it doesn't have to be. This is what I would ask. Something along the lines of wording to be interpreted. But what is Linval's current goal? What is she currently trying to do, or what something along those lines? Because that will give us an answer of she's trying to do X, Y, or Z. Asking about a specific thing, like what's going on in the fire realm or whatever it is that we're thinking of going to would be good, but it would only tell us initially what that is. It wouldn't say how important it is or anything like that. But if we can somehow get the wording right for the question to basically tell us what her end game is, we can go from there.
Yeah.
But that's just one man's opinion. Yeah, I think asking a question about something that's not. If we have one question and we don't ask what the fucking point of her doing all this is, I think it's maybe a wasted question. But I might be looking at it the wrong way around. It might be more beneficial to ask about something that's short term. But yeah, it's an interesting one. I'm just thinking how you would word that. We'd get a very good answer to a question if we made some assumptions within the question. For example, what are Linval's plans with the shards of AO? If we ask that and we get a response, fuck me, that's going to give us the exact answer. But
you mean Lelalia's plans?
Oh, sorry, yeah, Lelalia's plans. What are Lelalia's plans with the shards of AO?
Yeah.
Because that's not really open for interpretation. That you couldn't get something like, oh, she plans to use them to do something. You'd literally get what she's planning to do with it. And I think knowing that is probably more beneficial than anything else, because if we've got the start and the end, the middle's easy to fill in, but if we've only got the start and the middle, the end we don't know, if that makes sense. Does it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. You can decide amongst yourselves, because I've not got too long here, but if you're happy making that assumption, I think that's a really good question. Because she does have a shard of AO on her at the minute.
She does indeed.
That we know of, potentially more. That might be what everyone's searching for, and the prizes, and all that jazz.
And would we know where to look for one next? So we just know that she's looking for them and why she's looking for them, then all we have is that one shard or two shards.
Yeah. If we know what she's going to use them for, then I'm pretty confident in the assumption of wherever she's sending her forces are where she thinks the stones are. When she's attacking all these places randomly in the letters and things, I think they were based on like information or sightings or something like that to do with the stones. or events of great power or something like that she's just interested into seeing if they're the cause of them. But in all fairness, if she already has one of the stones, even if we had the other ones, it's really still going to be quite tough because she has probably the most utilitous one, the one that can do the most things and cause the most kerfuffle. But yeah, if we're like just posing questions, my question would be, what are her plans with the shards of Ao? Or what does she plan to use the shards of Ao for? That would be my question, because that question relates to now, doesn't it? Because her plan now is, it's a thing about the now, so I think that should still work. So yeah, my question would be, what does she plan to do with the shards of Ao? But that's just me, so that's one question you can add to your list if you've got any questions already.
Thank you, Jack.
No worries, I'll just sit in here listening along for another 5-10 minutes.
That's very deeply appreciated, thank you. What do we think, gang?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's Thog's choice to what question she asks. So I feel
I think
the reason Thog asked, the reason Thog is workshopping a divine question is because she's in character. She would be unable to make the decision alone, and if she did, she would not make a good question of it. That's the problem. That's why she's asking.
Fairs. I think all the questions benefit merits. I think that maybe the shards of Ao question, because if it's not, if your theory crafting is wrong and they're not the shards of Ao, then the question will be answered with a "what the fuck are you talking about?" and then that's it. You know what I mean? Whereas if it is, I feel like that's a Hail Mary question, because if they are the shards of Ao and then the Morning Order's like, well, this, and this, then fuck me, you've hit the nail on the head there. Yeah.
Perhaps we could simplify it. Instead of saying the shards of Ao, we could just say, what is Lelelia's plan with the shards that she has been collecting, which I have collected one of her for inadvertently.
Yeah, but then doesn't it have to relate to doesn't it have to relate to the past week or something?
Well, no, it's like within the next 7 days. So I can just say what are her current plans for the.
Okay, yeah, that works. I like the currently.
I mean, a code for a living. It's not like Lewis can't think of a complex if and or question that will even make Matt's head spin.
True.
But that isn't something Fogg would do. Therefore, Lewis will not subject Matt to a long question.
I think that Jack's question is. Yeah, I'm up for that. Actually, thinking about it.
Okay.
Like, what's the current plan? What are they currently working on? Something like that. Okay. It would make sense to Meridia for that to be, because, like she said, when she left to go and do her thing, and it was, all the orders mingle with one another apart from the Shroud, and we all kind of help each other, but we all have our own individual things. And then suddenly she comes back after X amount of years, and it's like, oh, why is what the fuck is going on? Like, why is everybody suddenly working towards one thing? So I'm up for that.
All beans. All right then.
If my theory crafting is wrong, I sincerely apologise.
Yeah, it's all on you, buddy. If not, then we're back to square one and we're just fucking sitting with our thumbs twiddling.
No, it's absolutely fine. That is
no, don't give him leeway. No, this is all on him if he's wrong.
No, it's not. Come on, give it. Look, you're not playing as Limvala anymore, Liam. Calm down.
I know, it's hard to disassociate myself sometimes when I see the silvery mark.
I'll also just
Yes.
mention, while I'm thinking about it and I'm here, just in case it's relevant to anything you've already said, when me and Ribbit fought a Serac, he did not give a shit about the soul gem disappearing. He did not give one crap. Your Serac was very adamant that could not leave. So maybe a Serac is working with her, or is trying to form the same goal or something.
No,
I just found that
I'll
quite
let you know
interesting.
now that our Serac, the Lelia was actively fighting him in the final battle. And
Okay, so maybe
Thog
you didn't
and,
want. Yeah,
Thog and Eve, well, Eve would have
Eve
definitely
would have
spoken
said
about
that, yeah,
because
definitely.
what happened was, just so you're up to speed, I might have said this before, but it might have gone out of your head. The Lelia was pretending to be somebody else. She was basically wearing the corpse of one of her followers and stuffed herself inside of it to walk around in. They fought the Atropal, and as the Atropal died, she popped off this spell that let her absorb the Atropal. The corpse and her being turned into this like crystal thing, and she popped out as this like completely different form, like a divinity form, and that's the form that she was in to fight a Serac. And a Serac knew that it was her through her guys and in the final fight as well. So our Serac was definitely not working with her.
there's
Yeah.
cool.
But yeah, so okay then. So just so we're clear, Thorg is going to ask, what are Lelia's current plans relating to the use and or procurement of the shards of reality that I have helped collect?
The shards of reality, or the gems. Which way do you want to go with it?
I will specify here. I know the word shard is being used for both,
Yeah,
but they are just two very distinct things. So
yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Like shards of AO is just an alternate name for the Infinity Stones that you dubbed, or Divinity Stones, or pieces of AO, blah blah blah. Whereas shard of the Shadowfell that you've got, Thog,
Yeah,
that is always referred to as the shard of the Shadowfell because there's only one per plane.
gotcha.
Yeah, so the shards of AO. Sorry, we'll just call them Infinity Stones. The Infinity Stones are AKA shards of AO. That was what my question was going to be. If you want to ask about the shards of the reality, that's cool.
She was so fucking cagey about it as well, wasn't she? Fuck.
Well, she did have the freshest banter, so you can't count that against.
No, I'm trying to fuck balls. I'm just trying to. I definitely didn't say what it was called or anything to Eve or to anybody else when we were there. She definitely wouldn't have fucking said that if she did the identify with the ring of identify and knew what the fuck it was. She definitely, because I'm pretty sure what she did was, oh, this is a terrible, horrible, magical relic that should be locked away and kept at bay. I'm pretty sure that's something along the lines of what I said.
You all knew it was called Soul, but all these other terms that Hunter has for it,
Okay.
they are introduced to you through Hunter.
All right. If we're asking about that, then why don't we say what are our current plans? Do you want to do the shards of like the realities, or do you want to? If Eve would have said it's called Soul, do you want to say with the gem or the magical item called Soul?
Yeah.
What way do you want to go with it? Because if we have to be very specific, then let's make sure we say the right fucking thing so we don't just waste the spell.
Yeah. So the way I thought it was going to go down was she was going to use the Infinity Stones to bring down the gate, and the reason she needs the shards of the planes is that she can bring down the gate in all of the planes, not just on the prime material. Or so
Yeah.
I think the reason she needs the shards of the planes is so that the gate can come down in its entirety. I think, and that's why she needs those. So it's up to you. I think we'll get a similar answer for both.
Again, remember the limitations on the spell as well when you're factoring all this.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
If it was up to me, I'd ask to do with the Infinity Stones, the pieces of AO. But it's your spell, so ask away.
Tricky one. Effort, man. Still though, God, I love this spell. And no, I won't abuse it. Yep.
Do we have a question?
So, I think the question is going to be, what are Lilelia's current plans in relation to the shards of reality that she seems to be collecting? Yeah, that's about it, really. I can't ask any further than that. There's, I don't know if it can be within 7 days or not, but that's, yeah, thanks, Eve. But that's about as close as I can get. So, Dog's gonna sit down at the back of the wall, spark up that dank holy kush, and we're gonna really do some magic, gentlemen and ladies. As Dog likes, takes, it's a 10-minute ceremony, isn't it? 10 minutes go by. Exactly, Bobby indeed. And as the ritual progresses, Dog's aura starts being released around her and around the smoke. And there's just an overwhelming hint of unstoppable green internal power with just a slight edge of sunshine around the sides. She makes contact. Does she? Does she? I mean,
You can definitely feel a connection there,
okay.
but the ritual cannot be completed until you ask the question. So,
Okay,
are you
fine.
asking what you spoke
Just
out?
said yes. Yes, I am.
Okay.
With a please at the end.
As Thog finishes this question, there is a quick flash of both sunlight and like a tinge of green light. The incense blows out, the light fades, and everything goes quiet and silent for a few seconds with absolutely nothing happening. Then there's another flash. This one is different. This one is down at Thog's side. In a moment, the sun sword ignites, but not quite how you're used to. Instead of a blade, following the flash, 3 small, couple of inches across motes of light float up from Thog's side and hang like Orion's belt in front of Thog's face. One of them, the one on the right hand side, flickers a little bit as 2 little other sparks, 2 smaller orbs of light, emerge from the very center of Thog's chest. 1 green and 1 purple. They spiral almost in a dance with each other as they float from Thog's chest up to this bright light on the right. And as they make contact, the light twists and merges and fuses with each other to form the symbol of Lalalia. And that light winks out, leaving the symbol behind. As it sits there still for a second, your attention is drawn to the other two motes of light next to it, which slowly, over a few seconds, twist and form into question marks before slowly returning back to motes of light. There is a recognition there, Thog, as one of these motes has been taken by Lalalia. It's not communicated verbally, but you feel it. And then you see from the symbol of Lalalia that hangs to you, very pretty blue and purple tendrils begin trying to stretch out towards the other two motes of light. And as they do, the light fades and the spell is finished. You understand, though, again, not verbally, the Lelia has the one, and her influence, her physically, it's not clear, is yearning and stretching out for these two other motes of light. And you can make of that omen what you will.
Okay then. Thanks, Matt. As the ritual comes to an end, Thug's just gonna she's just gonna grumble. She's gonna say, "Ugh, she'd probably send me spam mail if she could." But and everyone else saw it as well. It wasn't just Thug, right?
Correct, everyone saw that.
Oh, good. In that case, then Thug's gonna shrug and say, "Well, sometimes our mistakes stay with us, don't they?" But that's a pretty, I don't know about you guys, but it seems to me like she wants to just take and take and take. Not that that's out of character; it's totally in character.
So the next question would be where to go first.
Indeed.
I'm not the best at interpreting signs of the gods, I will be honest.
Who is?
Matt,
Yes.
watching all of that and seeing the light and everything, obviously Meridia panics for a moment. Thinking that she's infiltrated the tower. Would I have any inclination? No, I've been gone too long. No, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
What would you guys like to do? What's on your minds? What are you thinking?
Does
Well, I'm
anyone have
gonna have to step out, guys. So it's 1:30. So I'm gonna have to love you and leave you.
Okie dokie.
But that was Thug's thoughts. That she just wants to take and take and take. It's a hint, but it doesn't confirm. It doesn't necessarily. It does confirm what we already thought, which is at least a positive. That's at least in Thug's mind. Nothing's necessarily clear. But yeah, That's it. And I'll have to see you guys later. I'll listen to the rest when it's up.
Okie dokie.
Bye.
Bye.
Matt, Matt, can you just run through the what we saw again?
So you
Sorry.
saw
Sorry to make you do it again, but my brain's
three.
melting.
You saw the 3 motes of light appear,
Right.
and then you saw 2 smaller lights appear from Thog's chest. One green and one purple. It seemed to emerge in a dance, intertwined, helping each other.
Mhm.
And as they made contact with the rightmost of these 3 bright orbs, it diminished. The colors merged into each other as if it was captured. And as it was, the light dimmed and reformed into the symbol of Lalalia. The other 2 bright motes then molded themselves into question marks and then back into bright motes. And the last thing you saw was very Lalalia-esque colors in the form of tendrils stretching from the symbol of Lalalia out to try and grasp the other 2 motes of light before the vision faded.
Right. And was this question in regards to? Sorry, my brain is absolutely fucking melting at all of this, and I'm
The
going
question
over.
was,
Yeah.
what are Lalailia's current plans in relation to the shards of reality that Thog has helped Lalalia collect?
Right.
Basically.
Okay.
Collect
Okay.
one of.
So from purple and green, I mean, I can only really guess and theorycraft that purple has to be the Shadowfell, right?
I would say if Lewis was still here and wanted further interpretation, there was a lot more feeling involved for Thog than you guys would have seen visually.
Right.
Like communicating via emotions.
Mhm.
It would have been obvious to Thog that those 2 beads of light were representative of her and Linvala, the green and the purple.
Her and Linvala.
Correct. Thog and Linvala.
Right. So she definitely wants more shards of the Shadowfell. She wants more shards of more Shadowfells. Fuck. Maybe what's in the maybe fuck, sorry, Liam genuinely panicked then. Maybe the what Linvala did find then was indeed this version's shard of the Shadowfell in the Whitestone Mountains. Maybe that's what she meant by the Lalia's prize. Because if that's what the Lalia wants is more shards of more Shadowfells, and to collect these shards of Shadowfells. Oh, fuck! Oh, shit!
I have no idea why you're panicking. Everything is going over my head.
Nah, Matt, nah! No!
I feel like we should all just leave and come back when Liam's finished having a meltdown.
No, I don't know. I don't know if I can say this out loud or not.
You can theorycraft all you want.
Right. Meridia has religious knowledge, so I can at least say this in character. Well, not in character, but I can at least say this in... Right. So, the Shadowfell is a plane of existence, right? Who created the Shadowfell? Is my question to the group, so that you can all follow my logic on this.
Well, I believe Tia would know, but as a person, I have no idea.
Well, it's Shah, right? Shah is all about the Shadowfell. Shah created the plane of shadow as a mirror to the prime material, right?
Some
Right?
stories do talk of that, correct?
Right. And if she's collecting multiple shards of the Shadowfell, that would theoretically destabilize the Shadowfell, right?
So you're saying we do not need to bring anyone to the plane material plane, but we could bring someone to the Shadowfell because it's no longer the same plane. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, what I'm trying to say is, what if she's trying to kill Shah by removing the Shadowfell from entirety of existence?
You mean like destroying an entire plane of existence?
Yeah, like destroy an entire plane of existence over multiple realities.
But would that benefit her?
Well, it would prove that she could kill the gods, or at least a fucking higher deity. Like, Shah's old school. She's super powerful. What if she's trying to make a point by saying, you know, fear me. I can do this to all of you. I know how because I'm on this side of the divine gate. And you all can't touch me.
That does sound plausible, I believe.
Because if she can kill, like, without having to actually face them, that can bring down the entire, like, theological system of the gods. And, like, that could, like, she could, like, because also the Shadowfell is also connected to the Raven Queen, right? Like, there are multiple deities and multiple demi-deities and all these kind of things that are connected to the different planes in existence. What if it's not just Shah? What if she's trying to take out a bunch of them in one go and go, look, like, I can do this to all of you if I want. What can you do to stop me? Nothing. You
Would
haven't
it
stopped
actually
me yet.
kill the gods though?
Well, if their essence is tethered to the plane of existence, then she's wiping out an entire plane of existence across multiple realities. She's not just proving to the gods that she can do that. She's proving to the gods that she can wipe out planes of existences if she wants to. She's saying to them, surely she's saying to them that I'm more powerful than anything you've ever seen. I think we have to go to the Whitestone Mountains, guys. Like, I think that's a good shout.
Hmm.
Well, I would suggest that we will make a full-on preparation if you want to do anything dangerous again.
So it's the possibility of another Infinity Stone for the Shadowfell.
Not an infinite stone.
Yeah, I keep forgetting the fucking name. Stop changing it. But yeah, so it's the possibility of it, and there's no proof, but the proof that a crazy person thought it does exist. A crazy person with a lot of resources to back everything up that she can claim.
Because they've gone, like, the maps that Vinvala had on her have so many, like, bits and pieces of the Shadowfell, like, crossed off, and so many, like, going intos from Vinvalda's map. She's got multiple maps of multiple Shadowfell instances here. She's got the map of the map of the Dundalian Empire that they've searched in. That's the Shadowfell. She's got the map of the Shadowfell version of the Burning Woods with Evernight and the Stonetooth Peaks done. She's got map 3, which is that's Exandria, right, Matt?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, map 3 is Exandria, and map 4 is like the Shadowfell, like Sea of Sorrows, the Shadow Rift, Barovia, like all of that kind of stuff. Like, and they've gone through entire fucking regions. You know what I mean? Like, even Barovia has a big fucking X in it, and that's where Linvala was having her like main base of operations. Like, what if the rips in like the tears are from like maybe they've got multiple shards from multiple realities, which is why it's so easy for them to tear, because across multiple realities the Shadowfells are being destroyed or removed, and like that will just fucking it's like multiverse wise, that's taking massive parts out of multiple like structural integrities to keep the planes and the cosmology wheels in tow. And if that's also destroying that, then that's having an adverse effect on the gods in those multiple realities, meaning that everything is destabilized, which is why like if you read the letters, like more and more of them appearing, and they're appearing bigger and stronger and different effects. Like, what if this is what's happening? What if for some reason she's taking out multiple Shadowfells for a reason, and I don't know what that reason is, but maybe it's to prove to the gods in general that she can do this. Because again, with divine gates in tow, Matt, with Hunter and Ribbit, their Shadowfell exists, right?
Yep.
Right.
They've been there many times.
Exactly, because they don't have that divine gate, so the gods can do what the fuck they want, right? They can traverse and to the prime material and do whatever. Maybe she's targeting realities that have the divine gate in existence and removing the Shadowfell shards from those Shadowfells because the gods can't stop her because they can't get through the divine gate.
I will interject here once again, simply because Hunter and Ribbit were discussing this yesterday. So if they were here, they would interject with this problem they faced with their theory crafting. They were also thinking about Lelalia jumping from reality to reality, doing different, like, secretive, unknown things. But one problem they encountered was if she's jumping from reality to reality and like it's causing these rifts, like, or she's using these rifts, then it doesn't solve the opposite of that. What am I trying to say? How do I say this? Like, if she's breaking the world by, say, breaking the Shadowfell, how did she break the world without being able to break the world? Like, it's a feedback. They found a feedback loop of they can't justify their theories because it would require her, like, the problems in the world to already exist for her to take advantage of to create the problems, if that makes sense. For example, you guys have never heard, no one has ever heard of like a parallel universe and all the reality, whatever, being able to go to before. So, like, how would she do it? Is one of their problems that they couldn't answer.
Oh, Liam thinks he knows, but he can't say anything because it was Linvala he was playing. Oh.
I will also specify as well, the Divine Gate covers the Prime Material, the Feywild, and the Shadowfell. Not just the Prime Material. Continue.
Matt, I've just sent you a message. I've just sent it to you now. Am I right in that? Obviously, I can't say anything because that's Linvala knowledge. I know you can't say yes or no, but that's where my head immediately went when you said that.
Okay.
Because that was Fog and Linvala's thing.
Well, like I said, I'm not saying anything. I can't
I
say
know,
yes or no.
but
or fuck.
Lewis isn't here, so I can't say whether Fog would have, because Fog's told everybody about that thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but did she specifically use any terminology that would say anything like that? No, exactly. Ah,
That's
fuck,
what
fuck,
Fog would have absolutely no idea.
fuck! Oh, fuck!
From a more meta standpoint, though, how about instead of worrying about what you don't know, worry about what you do know, because you have treasure trove of information here.
Guys, I think we have to go to the fucking to the fuck. Matt's just sitting there smiling, watching me go down a rabbit hole that has no fucking, like, I've just veered off the track completely, and he's just like, ha 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 ha. Like, I can feel it. Fuck.
Well,
Greenhill.
I really don't think we should go to that place. That's one too many swear words. I don't think that's a nice place to go.
No, that was a fuck out of frustration because I can't fucking say anything.
Just say fuck one more time to get that out of your system. Thank you.
I don't think what they're planning, but I don't think motel is a good idea.
No, fuck. The fact that Linvala was willing to use the terminology of Lelalia's prize really, like, resonates worry in Meridia. So I feel like I don't want to talk for the entire group, and I don't want to press this point of we should go to the Shadowfell and we should go to where Linvala was looking. But without being able to talk to Linvala and without having that kind of this is what, like, the facts about it, obviously it's frustrating, and I feel like
Okay, say that we went to the Shadowfell. Where would we look?
we would need to go to the blah, 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 fucking Linvala's notey bollocks again. Notable people, world spells, intro, award abilities, dead characters. No, I'm in the wrong space. Oh, I'm panicking. And I'm notable letters. Unsent letter from Linvala. It is the story told of the eastern mountains of Wildmount near Incanter's Rest in Blightshore Bay. tell of a group of mages which attempted to mine the Shadowfell some 20 years ago. Apparently, they hope to bring back shadow-imbued metals and magics. Though I regard their objective as pathetic and deluded, apparently their efforts ceased once they found something else there. So far, I can't find any mention of what that something is, but I suspect it may be at least related to our goal. I'll be directing forces to search the foothills of those mountains if our current excursions return empty-handed once again. And this was wet ink when we found it, so it was like she was in the process of writing this. So the empty tents and shit were probably her forces being sent off, like from where her forces would have been sent off through this. And again, like the fact that she was sent an order to send her forces to her sister superior, and then Vala went, "Yeah, nah, I'm doing something else." Like that's like, I don't know, like you a corporal in the army telling a lieutenant to do something. I don't know how army things work, but telling a lieutenant to do something directly, and the lieutenant just being like, "No, I'm going to do this instead." Like. I convey that in hopes that you understand our search is not frivolous nor directionless, and I assure you we will soon have the Lelia's prize in our possession. Like, Linval is fucking confident here, you know what I mean? Like, she's confident all the fucking time, but, like, the wording that she uses is specific, you know what I mean?
So we have to go and find a
something in the eastern mountains of Wildmount.
So we find if we find a large group of monsters and heavily armored,
yeah, like we know we're on the right path. But like forces that size would leave, like, you know, like we would see footprints, or we would see, like, you know, foliage, you know, broken and shit in the size of that troop, and at least. I mean, I'm not I'm not designed to track, but like, I could Meridian's been a part of the order, so she could at least. Matt, would she be able to make an educated? I'm saying this. I'm asking you a question instead. Would she be able to make an estimated guess, or a reasonable guess, if she were to track? Because, you know, she's how she got to where she got. She had to kind of do this in bits and pieces. Would she be able to make a reasonable assumption that she could, within reason, determine if, like, it looked like some large sort of force walked through? She would be able to tell that it was children of Silvermist or not?
If you feel like she'd be confident enough to say for sure or not, then you feel like she'd be confident enough to say for sure or not. Does not mean that's the case, but that's a confidence issue.
I feel like this is some kind of intelligence roll I'd need to make for myself.
I think it's some fuckery from Matt, but that's me.
Yeah, I mean, it's all fuckery from Matt, you know what I mean?
I'm just saying, you, like, you know, if you came across 1,000 footprints and, like, there's a brooch here and a symbol here that people dropped of the Ley's forces, you'd know it was the Ley's forces.
Yeah.
Alternatively, you could come across 4 footprints and nothing else, and you wouldn't know heads or tails of anything. You wouldn't even know if it was a human or not, or an elf or a dwarf. Like, that question is far too arbitrary and context dependent for me to give you any answer.
No, I mean, when I was asking you, when I was hearing it in my head, I was like, this is a fucking dumb question. But, like, I get you. Yeah, I mean, my input into all of this is that if that's what she's trying to do, and if that's what she's trying to get in, if the vision that Thog got was of Linvala and of Thog, and Lilalia tendrils are reaching out towards them, we know that those two together acquired her a shard from a Shadowfell. And if that's what she wants, if she wants more shards from more Shadowfells, and if Linvala is like, this is me again grasping at the dark, like a lot of this theory crafting session has been. But if that's Meridia grasping from the shard, like from the dark, then that's what Meridia's going to say, is that at least this is worth investigating. And again, Liam out of character game saying this might completely be nothing. It might be a wild goose chase and it might be a time waste. But that, like, there's enough kind of reasonable arrows, or at least reasonable nudges to me, to say maybe we should check this out. This kind of seems important. And I know that we have the magics at our disposal to potentially get us somewhere where we need to be. On the map, because I can't open up the maps particularly very large. On the map of Exandria, where is Wild Mount on the map of Exandria again? Sorry, I can't see it because it's all grayscale.
So, as in that's referenced in the letter.
Yeah,
That would be map 5.
map 5.
And
Okay.
it would be the right hand side of the map. Basically, she's referring to where the 2 yellow circles are, but have not been crossed off.
Okay. Do in this wizard's tower, are there more detailed maps of these specific areas that we could potentially get, or does Mordekainen or Vigil or anybody else know, pointing at these places on the map, kind of where they're directed towards? Is there like a more detailed map of that area that they have, so that we could at least be a bit more familiar with the area that we're kind of looking for?
So, Mordecai and Malkar aren't currently here. They're off doing their own thing. Vigil is still here, and Illustria is still here.
Yeah. Why do we
they
get stuck
will-
on Vigil again? Fuck's sake.
They will both share with you that the civilizations on Wildmount, Tal'Dorei, etc., haven't and don't really interact with the civilizations of the Sword Coast and stuff. It's communication and travel and all that kind of thing has only been really happening for the past couple of decades, maybe more. It's like a very slow introduction of the 2 major population centers.
Right.
And so, while the people are aware of each other and places and a few names and stories, detailed maps, any kind of like true show of like interconnectivity between the 2, not really available. It's likely that this Shadowfell map you have is the first proper map they've seen of there in any great detail. Because it's one of those things like trade routes are only just starting to establish themselves.
So like a plane shift or something like that is really not going to get us where we want to go.
Well, a plane shift
coin
works
flip.
differently to teleport. Plane shift, you can name where it is you're trying to go, and it will take you there.
Right. But we don't know the actual specific names of this place, right?
I mean,
So we could say the Eastern Mantle by Blightshore and end up in the fucking north tip by the Emerald Clutch.
It did give you a town name and a bay name in the letter. So while it said the mountains there,
yeah,
like
so
it would still get you
Rest.
to the actual like area.
Right.
It wouldn't take you. It probably wouldn't take you to the doorstep of exactly what you're looking for, because even you don't know that.
Okay.
But at least, like, if you want to get to that point on that map, you do have a name associated with it.
All right. Okay. Again, I don't just want to be the like the loudest voice in the room, but I think that this is a good shout. I think we've got some leads here that are all kind of pointing in that direction. But again, it could be a complete fucking wild goose chase. As is, I'm sure Matt has thrown in some red herrings here along the way to fuck with us. So I don't know. I mean, that's where Liam / Meridia is right now. And I've been doing a lot of talking, and I don't just want to be the only one talking, because this isn't the Liam show. So, like, I feel like that's a plan, or at least not a good plan, but a reasonable plan, if you all can follow my logic, which is very fucking red string to pictures and safety pins right now.
I do follow your logic, I just don't really understand too much of this. As I am from a scholarly background, I'm not used to fighting this much.
I know very little about this wild mound that she's talking about. I've never been there myself. Is it very far away? We're talking about airship travel.
No, it would be
It's literally the opposite side of the planet, so
And
different
in-
continent.
and on the Shadowfell as well, so it would be a plane shift. I'm just checking something here a minute. From something that Matt has sent me. Before I say anything else. Because I don't just want to keep messaging him to ask for confirmation for stuff. My files.
I believe your reasoning is sound.
Well, no, there's extra reasoning to it.
It's not sound. I'll wait
Wait.
until you're done then.
Right, Matt, I'm going to ask you a question here on Facebook again.
Okay. I'm in suspense.
I know, I'll just type it out. Wait. There's a follow-up. Before you answer.
Oh, yeah.
I just didn't want to put it all out in one message.
Yes, you know that is BS.
Right. Okay. So.
Because, like, when you de-indoctrinate yourself,
Yeah.
you realise, hey, hang on, that's the kind of thing everyone would have heard of if that happened.
Yeah, there's no other recorded history of that ever, right? Okay. So Meridia will did I click one by accident?
One.
Matt, did you open up something in front of me?
I did not.
Oh, maybe I don't know, maybe I clicked by accident. So Meridia will point out that it seems a bit Meridia will fuck, do I still have a copy on me or not? I don't think I would. Or would I? Because I'd need it as to like complete the ruse, right, Matt? Yeah. I'm gonna say fuck it. I'm gonna say I've still got a copy on me.
Mm-hmm.
So Meridia will pull out her copy of the Book of Silver Mist. And she'll look around at you all and she'll go, you've all read this, right? Like you've all had an ability to read through this, I take it, and you've all read it, right? And this is an open question to the group. Who has and who has not read through the Book of Silver Mist? I know that Lavender has. and I know that Thog has.
Derek has not.
I'm quite sure I have not. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Would
We may
Eve
have all
have?
had the ability, but we haven't.
Would Eve have?
Oh, read the book.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay. She'll turn to the rest of you then. Matt, stop me if I'm like overstep. So Tefel hasn't, right? Okay, but Eve has. So I think Eve knows where I'm going with this. So, she will say to you all that this is, so this is split into 3 sections. Where's the fucking actual thing? There it is. I'm just trying to find
Kate's
the button.
character, I believe.
So this is split into 3 books. You as a DM, to Eve. So she will explain that she would take like the not I, not Sterwin. I'm just going to say Sterwin now. You, Eve, not Sterwin. Meridia will like section the book into like the like grab the pages of like the 3 bits in like her fingers to show you like the sizes of the chapters and go. This is split into 3 books. And the first one here with like the wedge of like the collection of pages, we'll say that this is book 1. This is called the Oeuvre, and this talks about the origin of the Lalia and of the and she'll put in air quotes like the firstborn, the Spilier, and all this kind of stuff. The second book here, again with like the second wedge, will go. This is called the Crusade of Convocation. This is the interesting part that I want to talk about. In here, it is documented through it that there was that the Lalia waged this holy war, and specifically targeted Shah in this great crusade of hers. In it, it talks about the birth of the great birth of the Tranquil Watcher, and as the war wages on, it explains that. Again, she'll do air quotes of be like the veil being lifted from the Lalia, and seeing how she can achieve honest and true peace with the coexistence of good and evil. And in it, it explains that there is this war between them, and then suddenly, for no reason at all, bear in mind that she's specifically targeted agents of Shah, therefore specifically targeting Shah. It talks about where they just stop, like the war ends, and there is no repercussions of her targeting this truly higher deity. So what if this is all just some kind of like, it's all like, because this holy war that's written about in detail in this book isn't recorded anywhere else. Nobody else has ever heard of it. It's just taken for granted and taught to us and instilled to us that it happened. And when that's all you hear, and you don't see any reason as to why the people who are telling you this would lie to you, when all you see is goodness happen, then you don't question these things, because you're just like, oh, okay, this happened. This obviously happened. It's written about here. We're taught about it. We all talk about it. But when I came out of the faith, I couldn't find any writings on it or any mention of it anywhere. So what if, again, she's targeting the Shadowfell? Because again, it's written in different in some places that Shah created the Shadowfell, and that the Shah and Raven Queen and other deities are connected, and other beings and entities are connected to the Shadowfell. Like Shadowfellian Archfey and all that kind of stuff. Like what if this is all somehow connected still through that? And Matt, can I the document called the Book of Silvermist Explanation? Can we add that to the group party notes?
Yeah, if you want.
Because I will explain to you all basically the bits and pieces that you would have. I can write a better version of it because this was done in like a speed round mode. But like
everyone's got access to the group notes to edit.
Yeah, I know. What I mean is I can write a better like description of everything, but like this was like the first like thing I wrote about it. So like I will, because people have read it, and have gone through it, and I've explained before the bits and pieces of it. So like I could like to add it to the group party notes if that's okay. You've got a copy of this document as well. So that's what Meridia says. Like she presents this thing of maybe again, if Linvala thinks that something very important is in the Shadowfell, then maybe this is a direction that we should take.
Any other thoughts or things you guys want to do? I'll take that as a no.
Like, this is
So
again, I don't just want to be the loudest voice in the room and everybody just kind of fall in line because it's just me saying things. But like, yeah.
So
I mean, it is a lot of things that make more sense to you than to me, but that's me
but that I don't don't take that as a Liam's right because he has outside game knowledge. Because
not necessarily, but it's also I have no clue what else we have.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing like there are other leads that we have that we could do. Like we could go to the plane of fire and deal with that. And like from the other group notes, there are other things that we could do. But like this is all just the fact that this letter was handed out, that this letter that we found, where Linvala's like, yeah, nah, to like her commanding superior officer, that being as zealous and devout as she is, and then all these other points leading to the Shadowfell and this bullshit in the Book of Silvermist, again being about that, like it just all kind of, I don't know, like to me, with what I'm being presented, this is where my head is at. But again, like, Lewis isn't here, Frankie isn't here, both Josh and Jack aren't here to like counterpoint or counter argument or like say something else, you know what I mean? So I don't just want to be like, oh guys, let's do this, and then off we pop to the Shadowfell. You know what I mean?
Maybe it's an idea then to
maybe if we just
make
stop
any big make no such big decisions.
It's nearly half past anyway.
So I was going to say, you guys have options now, a bit more information, a lot of ideas. Starting next session, you guys can all decide what you want to do. But bear in mind as well, you could also, if you wanted, split into smaller groups again. That's completely up to you guys. So maybe throw in the chat sometime this week that maybe not in as much detail as we've just been talking about everything. The major options you can see going forward or that you'd like to explore, and everyone can add to that. And either you can all decide to do one of them as one group or several of them as several groups. It's completely up to you. and that'll dictate what you're doing going forward.
But yeah. So yeah. Hi everybody. Welcome to the inner workings of the bullshit. So yeah,
Welcome to the mindfuckery.
welcome to where my head was at when I wrote all this shit.
It begins 5 years ago.
Literally, or however long it was, pre-pandemic. I think I wrote this. So yeah, so Matt, if you want me to do like a better version of the explanation, I can, because this is still just from back then when I was writing it to you originally. Like I can, and I can go into more in depth if you want, but like, you know, this is what I've got now, so it might take me a bit to write it up, but I can if
Cool.
you'd rather that for the group notes.
I'd send it to me before you put it in the group notes, but also
No, you've already got this document. This is the one titled "The Book of Silver Mist Explanation."
No, I know. I mean, like if you're rewriting it.
Yeah. Sure thing. Okay.
And then just remember as well to keep it succinct.
Yes.
Because you can talk about details in game. Just keep it to like core.
Yeah, I think
facts,
maybe then like this is like, because these are like the main points in the book that like I wanted to get across in the first place. So like maybe just keep it like this. And if anybody wants to question Meridia, then I can go into more detail in game talkie. I think that works, right?
Cool.
Yeah, cool. All right then. Right, cool.
Anything else anyone wants to do before we wrap it up? No.
No, not really.
Okay, cool. I will get back to you with your shopping list. As for everybody else, have a think about what you want to do. I'll throw in the group chat now, just like the paths that you guys have identified to go ahead. Anyone else can then add to that, and you can all discuss what you want to do for next week.
Sure thing.
Cool.
Feel free to tell me off, Matt, if I've overstepped as well.
No, not at all.
Oh.
Cool. See you
You'll
all next
find
week,
out
guys.
next time you have to re-roll new character.
No, I'm just gonna get a very angry phone call in a minute, like listen here, motherfucker.
No, not at
No
all.
way, I'll just answer with the angry meme of throwing every single character out the window.
Yeah, that is perfect. I love it. I love it so much.
The moment we're talking about, right guys, we need to come up with some ideas. I'm like, yep, that's a meme gonna flash up in the eyes.
Love it. Right. See you all next week.
Bye.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Bye.